Hi everyone. I'm going to start finally my first recording on dreams. This recording is an introduction to the kind of work that we'll be doing on this channel, so that you have a little bit of background on my experience with dreams. I'm certified by Atlantic University as in dream interpretation. And the one thing I could say to you is that seems to surprise most people that I speak to is that no one can interpret your dreams. You can't look it up in a book. Because probably one of the most important elements to a dream is the emotional component of the dream. And that is something that only you can express, discern, or reveal. And the second thing is that's interesting about dream interpretation is a lot of people will look up symbols and say, okay, this means everything that you dream about has a certain meaning. And there is some truth to that, in that there are archetypes that tend to be common among us as a human race. But there are so many levels of symbology and meaning to different elements of your dream that it's really, at the end of the day, very personal. So a car, if you dream about a car, it could mean that they're talking about your physical body, your avatar, and the way you transit in this dimension in the 3D matrix. But it could mean something else as well. And so you can't just send a dream to someone and ask them to interpret it. The only time I would say maybe that could be possible if the person is psychic or does it from an intuitive place, because then it's not someone looking it up in a book. You can't do it with a book. You gotta really, the best suggestion that I have if you're trying to interpret an interesting dream is to write it down, write the dream as you remember it, and also write the emotional elements of it. In other words, how were you feeling? When you were having this dream, were you in fear? Were you in fear in the entire dream, or were there moments where you experienced other emotions? And then start to break it down to everything in the dream, asking yourself, what does this mean to me? And then you'll start to discover that it's really cool. You really start to discover that there is an interesting meaning, but very unique to you. So that dream interpretation is not what I'm doing with dreams in the channel. I can assist you if you're interested. So if you have a dream and let's say you have this recurring dream and you really want to understand why you're having it, I could sit with you, is almost like a therapist, and break down your dream for you. So that's something I just want to put out there, but that's not the reason why I'm doing this in the channel. So what I learned about dreams is the following. We have dreams that fall into different categories. One of them is definitely, some dreams are prophetic. They're prognosticating some kind of future event. Some people do have those kind of dreams. Some dreams are simply playing out the fears and worries that you're having through the course of the day. I call these programs. I do a lot of work with these dreams, these kind of dreams specifically, the ones that are simply a reenactment or a rehashing of the worries and fears that you play out in everyday life. Because what happens is we're in a physical body having a physical experience, and we're constantly running on certain kind of software or programs that we've been given since birth. Your parents taught you to relate to the world in a certain way. Your teachers in school taught you how to relate to the world, your friends. So there's, depending on your age, you have the entire world telling you, okay, if this happens to you, you need to go into fear. If this happens to you, you need to go into worry. If this happens to you, you're going to go into a feeling of lack of self-worth. And I'm saying this is because most programs are negative. And one of the major work that I did when I started working with my dreams in the last 4 months is that I was being shown these dreams, and they were so annoying. They were so repetitive. I would actually dream something over and over and over again in one night. In other words, I would dream it, wake up, go back to sleep, dream it again, wake up, to the point where I started to unplug them. So the beautiful message here is when I'd like for you, when you have any of these dreams, is to when you're having the dream and you go back in and you realize you had it again, at some point you're going to say to yourself, I don't want to have this dream again. And before you go back to sleep, say to yourself that you're going to unplug it. So when you go back to sleep, you're going to have that moment, that awareness that you're having that dream again, and all you need to do is to just visualize the plug in the wall and unplug it, collapse it. This is really important work because what we're doing is we're unplugging them for the collective. And we're in the process of clearing a lot of 3D matrix programs of fear, doubts, lack of self-worth, lack consciousness, a lot of sadness and grief. So when you're having your dreams, the minute you unplug it, you're unplugging it for everybody. So it's really good work. I know that there's some of us that are already doing this. And the more people we have doing it, the better. So you might have questions about this. You do not have to be in Delta, which is the deepest sleep state, in order to unplug. In other words, you can come out of a deep state and go into Theta, which is the in-between state between wake and dream. And in Theta, just go into a moment of stillness, connect to the dream you just had, and unplug it. You don't have to, because sometimes when we're really, really deep, it's really difficult to, it takes a certain degree of work to understand in a lucid way, in a conscious way, that you're in the dream. But you can unplug in Theta. And basically, the beautiful part is that you're unplugging it for yourself. So you're starting to collapse your fears, you're starting to collapse your lack consciousness, you're starting to collapse all these negative programs that you're running on. And and then you've guessed it. If you're unplugging programs, then you have to reprogram, right? You have to find a way of programming the avatar with positive affirmations, and we'll go over that. So, okay, so we talked about dreams play out our fears and our worries. You can connect with your loved ones that have crossed really easily. Sometimes it comes spontaneously in the deepest level of dreams. You can dream of a loved one, and it could be very visceral and very emotional. You can do it there, but you could also do it while you're in Theta. Theta is a beautiful place. If you find yourself there and you have awareness that you're in Theta, and you really want to connect to someone who's passed, you can call them there when you're in Theta. These, I'm assuming that everyone knows what these levels of consciousness are. So you're in the conscious state, meaning you're awake in everyday life. Then you're in Delta. Then you go into Theta. This is just as you're dropping into a dream, into deep sleep. There's this sense of stillness. and it's a quieting down, and you're not moving, but you're aware that you're actually going to sleep, that you're soon to be in a deep sleep. That's called theta. Some of us can sustain that state, and that's really where I work when I work with clients with in hypnosis. I work in the state of theta because I need to be able to work with the clients. They need to be able to communicate with me. And then there's delta, which is the deep levels of sleep, and there are many levels of delta. I'm not an expert in the sense that I haven't researched what other people call the different dimensions that you can go into when you're in delta. But I'm not really interested at this point in reading other people's definitions of the different planes, because I'm experiencing them. I'm just going to speak about them from where I'm receiving the information and how I'm receiving it, how I'm able to interact, and my personal opinion as to what's happening to me in my dreams. So moving along. So in addition to connecting with loved ones that have crossed, you can visit in a very visceral way your past lives, your future lives, and your parallel lives. And basically what happens is when you're transiting different dimensions, time collapses. So past, present, future lives are all accessible. And the interesting part is the parallel lives. So my life right now, as the persona I am that's having this conversation in my YouTube channel, has several parallel lives, and I actually have unplugged some of them too. I've collapsed some of them because it was playing out. Fear programs that I no longer resonated to. So if I found myself experiencing a parallel life that was no longer in resonance with me, I would unplug them. And the other thing you can do in dreams, you can connect with teachers. I've had some amazing experiences with teachers, a lot of them not human. Just want to say, a lot of them are extraterrestrial, inner earth beings, and they're magnificent, beautiful beings of love. And I've had teachers that I didn't have a chance to meet in the flesh, in life, that have come to me in my dreams as well. And it's really beautiful, beautiful experience when that happens. And it's very visceral. It's beyond words. And you know it that you've had this experience, and it's not imagination. When there's emotion, there's a really strong, beautiful emotion that you return to the 3D matrix with this incredible sense of love and understanding. And the other part that you can do with dreams is intentionally manifest while you're in the astral plane. And this is lucid dreaming. Lucid dreaming, vivid dreaming, I call it dreamcasting, dreamscaping. And that's the part where I am right now. I'm really playing with the astral plane, being coached by my guides, by my higher self in these realms. And I would like to share it, catch you up to where I am, and maybe we could have a journey together in the dream world. Okay, so I think that I just wanted to start out with an introduction to give you an idea of what I intend to do. And we'll just do little recordings, short recordings, coaching you through different things. If you have questions, I'm going to try and post a way that you can reach me through email with any questions that you have. Okay. Love you, tribe. I'll be in touch soon. Bye bye.